Call the meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call. Roll call.
Belsley.
Here.
Blunier.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Lehman. Here. Newman.
Here.
Parrott. Here. We have a quorum.
If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't watch me tonight.
There are no public hearings tonight and no presentations or special reports. Is there anybody in the public who'd like to make a comment? Go ahead, Leanne.
Good evening, everyone. Leanne Brown. I'm the Executive Director of the Morton Chamber of Commerce and CEO of the Morton Economic Development Council, and just want to invite all the trustees and the public to our upcoming forecast breakfast on Tuesday, April 24th. It's a great way for the public to hear an update from the mayor, from our superintendent, Jeff Hill, from our park district director, Joel, and our library director, Alyssa. So Tuesday, April 24th, 7 a.m. here at Freedom Hall. Invitation and registration is on the Morton Chamber website. $15 to cover breakfast. And if you can't wait until September for pumpkin pancakes, you'll get a taste of pumpkin pancakes for the breakfast as well. So thank you for allowing me to make that announcement.
Thank you, Leanne. And on that note, if all of you would let Julie know if any of you are attending. Is there any request from the public to take items out of the consent agenda? If not, the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes, the regular meeting, April 2nd, 2018, and approval of the bills. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Any comments? If not, call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman. Yes. Newman.
Yes.
Parrott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The first item I have tonight is a proclamation honoring our former policeman, Larry Smith.
The proclamation reads as follows. It's a proclamation, Larry Smith Day, April 16th, 2018. Whereas Larry Smith had been employed by the Morton Police Department for 30 years, retiring in 1993. And whereas he served 3 generations of families in the village of Morton through countless hours of dedicated service as a patrolman, detective, and sergeant of the Morton Police Department. And whereas he was awarded with 3 awards for honorarium of service certificate for his expertise through initiative and ingenuity. And whereas he was recognized by his supervisors for being so proficient and dedicated that it is hard to find anyone that is in law enforcement in this area that does not know of Larry Smith. And whereas he was honored in numerous letters of appreciation for his professional demeanor and dedication to the citizens he served. And whereas he received numerous letters of appreciation for his assistance and investigation skills from other law enforcement agencies, both locally as well as from other states. And whereas he served as mentor to several younger officers, always willing to coach and teach them in their law enforcement career. Now, therefore, President of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Morton, Tazewell County, Illinois, does hereby proclaim April 16th, 2018 as Larry Smith Day in the Village of Morton.
Police Chief, you have any comments?
I'd just like to say that I had the honor to serve with Sergeant Smith during my career, about 7 years as a young officer, and he was always willing to help one out. Those of us who grew up in town, many of those when they became 16 became quite aware of Larry. But he gave an awful lot of breaks that nobody knows about, in addition to the numerous arrests that he may have made throughout the years. But he loved the community of Morton and was always willing to do for that. And what many don't know is that he served many years as an umpire of baseball, and he never took a check for any of those games that he umpired. He was about Morton. He was about the Morton Police Department, and he was a fine example of a citizen of this community. So he'll be missed greatly.
Thank you. I think I was part of that second generation. It always amazed me how he knew everybody's kids' names and could remember them. So, thank you. Any other comments? The second item I have is the reappointment of Gerald Ritterbush to the Planning Commission for another 5-year term, and appreciate his willingness to continue to serve. Could I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Any comments? Call the roll, please.
Harrer.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Also, it's time for reappointments to the Tourism Grant Committee. I'd like to thank a couple of them, members that are getting off. Tom McDowell, was the owner of Culver's. Want to thank him for 7 years on the board, and Stan Patel, who managed the Park Inn, for serving for 1 year. Those two gentlemen are getting off. So we've asked Marie Arundale, who with her husband Steve runs Schooners, to serve a 2-year term, and Brenda Reed, manager of Quality Inn. She also would serve a 2-year, and Nathan Domangini, who is serving now, has agreed to serve another 2-year term. So I'd like a motion to approve those 3 appointments.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot. Yes. Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Harrer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Village clerk, anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village administrator.
I have one item tonight, Your Honor. I would like for a consideration by the board of resolution number 07-17, which is a resolution authorizing purchase of a VoIP, which voice over internet protocol phone system.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or concerns about the board?
I just want to make one comment. When this resolution was drawn up, we had not received the actual bids for the system yet. I have received a portion of that, and it's going to be significantly lower than the not-to-exceed number of 40,000 that is on here. Our system was installed in 1989, and it basically died over the previous weekend, and the gentleman that had worked on it for years worked on it and said that it would be $1,400 to fix it, which were parts that he could get like from eBay, because you can't buy new parts for it anymore. So I made the decision that it was kind of silly to put, something back in service that we have to spend that kind of money on. When another part goes out of it, we'd be back in the same position that we were in. So we had looked at this previously, and I think this is the right move for the village to, get into at least the same century as we are currently in.
I believe they said they hadn't seen those kind of wires for a phone system in 25 years.
Correct.
So I think we've got our money's worth. To inform the board, it is going to be paid out of all the utility funds, because we are a utility office. That's what the phone system's used for. So that will not come out of the general fund. Yeah, go ahead.
Julie, thanks for your work on it thus far. Question, I guess we had kind of talked on it a little bit, but it sounds like we're going to eventually need to look at a new system anyways because of the 9/11 dispatch.
Correct.
Is that kind of how I understood?
Correct. Currently, when you call into the village hall at night, well, prior to our system dying, when you called in at the village hall at night, you got a voicemail that told you, message that would tell you to contact the police department after hours for any gas or other emergencies. That, because of the consolidation, we are not going to have that service of a person being on staff that is our employee, 24/7. So we were looking at getting a contracted service for answering the phone at night and calling out the on-call people for the water and gas departments. And so we were going to have to, previously what they were going to do with the old system is it was going to basically put the person on hold and then make like a conference call and call the contracted service, which the quality wouldn't be very good. And so we were concerned with that, but that was what we were going to do in the interim until we could look into getting a new system. But this just kind of moved that all forward.
So again, we rode the horse till it died, and we got our money's worth. And this horse did not have caller ID. So trying to run the village without caller ID and sitting in meetings with Julian Craig is no fun knowing if that phone should be answered.
So just to add on, it's very critical that the 266-5361 number works. We're working with Vanguard right now and anticipate June 1, after this gets installed very quickly, that hopefully we'll have a week or so before we start transferring over those calls to Vanguard. So right now we're planning on June 1, which is a month and about 7 days before, I think that's the minimum time, July 8th, when the potential big change happens and possibly groundbreaking at the police station.
All right. So if no other comments, could we have a roll call, please?
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's all I had tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Chief of Police.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a couple of things. First is just an announcement to everyone that Saturday, April 28th, from 10 a.m. to 2 in the afternoon, we will be partnering again with the DEA on the drug take-back. So anybody has any unused or unwanted prescription medication, turn those in. We don't take any hypodermic needles. We take liquids which are in the original container and any solids. Secondly, in your packet, we finally got the quotes on the state bid for the police vehicles. We were hoping, as you remember back in January when I brought to you the mileage and the vehicles that we would be looking to get rid of. In front of you, it shows the list of the prices. Morrill Brothers Ford got the bids, both the sedan and the SUV. There are still some Impalas that were previously on a bid. They're 2016. As you notice, they still went up about $800 on the cost, even though they're just sitting in the parking lot. But it would be our recommendation that we purchase 2 of the state bid SUVs at $28,490 a piece for the police department. In addition, there was some issues regarding the Tahoe for the fire department, and they, if you remember, got monies for purchase of a new vehicle on their bid, and we would like to get that as part of this. So there would be a total of 3 SUV police pursuit vehicles that we would obtain, 2 for the police department and an additional 1 for the fire department.
Ours will be red.
Thank you, Chief. So, could I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the 3 SUV, for the 2 for the police and 1 for the fire department.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Yeah, talking to our head mechanic, Ryan Nass, and was notified the Tahoe is unsafe and junked, so we dismantled what we could save, and it's time for, it was 17 years old, so we thought this is the most appropriate use of funds, since we do have the other red pickup we don't need that big of an SUV. Fire chief agreed. So talking with Ken Newman and that, we decided to approach the state bid and get a red one. So
And
that's,
we have been purchasing these Ford SUVs since 2014, and our city mechanic has been pretty pleased with their performance during that time.
so any other comments?
The two for the police will be for the current fiscal year budget, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It's just taken the state that long to get the bids out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it used to come out in October, and then it was December, and then now it's just before the end of the fiscal year, on this particular year.
Okay. If no other comments, call the roll.
Parrot. Yes. Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Fire and Emergency Services.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to take a few moments of the board's time to introduce our newest paramedic, full-time employee, Nick Gurdian here. Nick, stand up. Nick's a lifelong Morton resident and has been with us on our part-time roster as a paramedic for a couple years at least now. And so we're transitioning him over to the full-time position with the retirement of Jeff Sponholz, who was with us for many years. So just wanted to introduce him tonight.
Welcome aboard. Director of Public Works.
Yeah, several items tonight, Your Honor. Before I get to A, B, and C, I had just a couple things. I sent you guys an email and I put paper on your in front of you. Due to the unfavorable weather, the landscape waste has not turned out very good for citizens. So I would like to propose extending that through Sunday, April 29th. I assume all of you are in support of that. All right. Next item, I would like to just add, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, we are going to be digging about 10 foot deep in the middle of Jackson, just east of the four-way stop. So we've sent stuff out, but please be aware of that. Please feel free to frequent Domino's, Jimmy John's, but other than that, if you can find an alternate route, it might be a good day to do that. But we'll do our best to keep traffic moving. But it will be down to one lane with flaggers until we complete it, and then 2 days later we'll try to pour the concrete and get out of there. With that, I'll go to A. I'd like to request permission to request bids for the South First Avenue reconstruction project, Phase 2. This is from Birchwood to Delwood.
So moved.
Second.
Can we just do it all? Do we have to vote that, or can I just all?
You can do all in favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
On to the next. I'd like to request bids for the East Adams Street reconstruction project from Main to First.
Could I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
All right, the next one, I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the Circle Drive improvements projects in the amount of $744,839.71 and award of contract for same to Laverdier Construction out of Macomb.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any comments from the board?
Just
Mr.
going to
Belsley.
ask, I'm assuming you've had discussion with the contractor, they feel comfortable with the price. I mean, there's a big discrepancy, but it's encouraging.
It was
Favorable.
significantly below
Yeah.
21%. So obviously you discuss those things in detail to make sure they're good with their bid. This is their third year here. They're very experienced with our standards, our people, all that. And they said, contacted me back, said we're good with our bid. So we look forward to favorable results Monday night, and they're ready to get working. So should be a good thing.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Planning and zoning.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you, Raj. Village trustees, anybody got anything tonight? We do need a closed session.
Closed session tonight is being requested under 5 ILCS 120/2C2 to discuss collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or their representatives.
Don't expect any action, so we'll move to closed session.
Need a motion.
Oh, yeah, motion to move.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman. Yes. Parrot.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
We're in